LHL Finals pregame show, Seattle versus Washington. I have a new co-host tonight, Mr. Joe. Welcome to the stream.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you, and I appreciate the webcam, appreciate the dress shirt, very snazzy, looking good, looking good. Uh,
Thank you, sir.
and my returning host, of course, Mr. Calvin, Mr. Cato, the man. He's always
What up,
around, always hanging around.
people?
So,
Yes, sir.
thank you both for being here. I think we should be in for an excellent series, Seattle versus Washington. I don't think it'll be a sleeper of a series. Um, Maybe we can start with the series predictions. I think that might be the easiest place to start. Jower, who do you think? Who do you got? Who do you got winning this series?
I'm trying to remember what I said on stream with Never Lefty the other night. I think I said, and I'm going to stick with it, Washington, but it goes the distance. Washington in 7.
Washington in 7. I mean, that's a pretty safe pick. Kato, what about you? Do you have any pre-game or pre-series
I
predictions?
got Seattle in 6. I'm going Seattle in 6. I think that the team's gonna beat the duo.
All right, all right. I'm gonna also go with Seattle. I'm going against the grain. I think my heart is telling me Seattle, my brain's telling me Washington, but I'm gonna follow my heart and I'm gonna go with Seattle in 7. I think Narg and crew have what it takes to power through. I think it's gonna be a team effort, and I think they find a way to shut down the imposing duo of Kiwi and Otto. I think they've looked mortal versus Chicago, and I think Seattle is much better than Chicago, so it should be quite the series. Um, game 1 and 2. How do we think this is shaken out? Game 1, Joe. What do you think? Who do you got?
Game 1, I think I really got to give it to Seattle. Just in the last games that I had streamed the other night with Chicago and Washington, the games were, Chicago kicked Washington's ass up and down the ice the first game, the Mercy. But the second game, even it was a close game and Washington won in overtime, but Chicago just looked like they were able to take advantage of every little bit of space they were given. And Washington, I just don't know if they didn't have the chemistry they usually have or what was off, but they just didn't look the same. I watched back a little bit of the replays of Seattle and Hartford, and obviously those games were close too. But I think Seattle gets foot on the gas here early, wins game 1, and then I think we see the wake up come from Otto and Kiwi and company.
So we see a 1-1 after 2 for Mr. Jower. That's a that's a
I
I like that.
think
Calvin,
it's
what do you
good.
think?
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. Honestly, I mean, I think that we're also gonna come away from here 1-1. I think Seattle's gonna take the first game as well, just like Jeller. I think that they're just gonna be able to have a better game plan, honestly, to come out and slow down Otto and Kiwi. Like we saw them shut down Dial. Not a lot of teams are actually able to shut down Dial like that. They were absolutely able to. I know that the playoffs and the regular season are a little bit different, as like just being able to put out a strong defense and just the ability of like that players try kind of, I guess. But in the playoffs, they had a great game plan against Dial. They completely shut them down, and Hartford had a really hard time, I think, against Seattle. They didn't score a lot. They didn't really have anything going for them. Washington's a completely different beast. They're a lot better team, I think, but like than Hartford that Seattle has faced, and that they're going to be able to exploit some of Seattle's game plan, and they're not going to be able to cover all the holes like you were able to with Hartford. But I think Seattle's going to be able to edge it out. What is it right now? Uh, I can't even think. Narg is just going absolutely crazy. He might be able to carry them even into a 2-0 series lead. But I do think that just enough shots on net from Washington are going to go through Narg, and eventually you're going to get them to win like 3-2, 4-2, something around that, like maybe 4-3 in the second game.
For
1-1 is what I'm thinking.
for sure, for sure. I could see that. I'm gonna go a little bit against the grain. I think Washington are gonna come out 2-0 these two first games. I think Washington can solve Narg. I think Narg has been really good, um, but I do think Narg is can get scored on. I think the last 3 shutouts from him have been were a little bit lackluster performances by Hartford, but I do think that that the duo of Otto and Kiwi have definitely what it takes. But I do think for the rest of the series after that, Seattle will bounce back, find a way, and get it done. But I do think it'll be an important series. I think this first game will be super important for Otto. I think Otto's a confidence-based player, and I think if he comes out and he doesn't play well early, I think it's gonna shake him, and he might not be able to get it going. So I think it all lies on the leadership group of Washington. So I guess we will see. Um, I don't know if is there anything. Oh yes, this is a point that I was thinking about last night, and I really want to harp on it. Seattle, what do they do? Do they sit back, or do they sit back and keep Slim in, or do they switch back to Tidge, the reliable defense? What do you think, Jar?
I think they're going to start with Tidge, and then they're going to see how that goes. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if Slim has had finals experience before. Um,
I,
so
I,
it
I
kind
I don't think so. This is his
yeah.
first. This is his first OHL goal, playoff goal,
Okay.
in that first series. So I don't think so.
Yeah. So I mean, we saw him dominate RSL, and obviously they won the title last night. But I think it comes down to a lot of, not to throw out the old cliches, but this guy's been there. He's done that. I think they're going to rely on Tidge for kind of that veteran leadership. If they need to adjust from there, obviously they will. They're a team that likes to adapt quickly. But I think, and especially if I were them, I would give the start to Tidge, kind of see where it goes. But get the veteran in there, try to stabilize everything, and start out the series on the right foot there.
For sure. I think starting Tidge would be the safer move, but I know Crab. I think he has something in him. I think he has a surprise in him, and I think he's gonna start Slim. Deep down, I think he's gonna start Slim. But what do you think, Gato? Well, what are your thoughts?
I honestly like. I think what you got to do is you carry the hot hand, and I think that's what they'll go for in the first period. If Washington comes out like catches Slim off guard or something, then I think maybe what you'll see is a quick pull from Seattle to say, "All right, thank you, Slim. Like, I mean, if we need you later." Which could be a real shock to Slim's system, especially if you want to use him later, like in Game 5, Game 6, if the series gets deep and you want to swap people over, kind of like that. But I mean, I think you gotta is what, especially knowing Crab, I think that he's gonna go with Slim at least in the first period just to kind of see how everything works out and go from there. I would probably instead, just keep what you're going with and lose and just kind of stay there.
For sure, for sure. I think this is a. Wow, Kiwi is flaming you in chat. That's insane.
No,
We
I
lo-
just like the flag. I was gonna type it, but I'll say it.
I think that wraps it up. I don't think we have anything else. Joe, or do you have anything to add on
So
to?
I just have a quick question for you guys because I'm curious what your answers are. Obviously, Otto's in the series, Trab's in the series, Kiwi's in the series, all those sorts of guys. But who is going to be your X factor for this series for each team? Like if they get it going, this team is going to win the cup. Who's your guys' X factor?
Go ahead, Nick. You take this one first.
For sure. For Seattle, I think it hinges on how good Narg can be. I think Narg showed, and I don't want to say he carried, but he played very well, and he helped Seattle take that series. I think Seattle hinges a lot on Narg elevating his game, and uh, Crab pointed it out in the meantime. But he definitely mentions that Narg was he elevates his game in the playoffs, and he needs to continue to. And I think he's done it in the past. He can do it again. I think that's the key to success for Seattle, and for Washington. I mean, it's gotta be depth. As good as Otto is gonna play, he can't score them all. So I think it's gonna rely a lot on. Um, I think Zam needs to be good, and if it's not Zam, then I do think that the secondary defense, so that will be BZ / Radids. I'm not actually sure. Kiwi just typed the Rats banned 2 games. Is that true? Is that facts?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but I'm not sure.
So if that's true, then I mean I think the
That'd
BZ
be
and yeah, the BZ and Radids. I think it's gonna be that duo. I think they're very important for Washington. I think Seattle's a super well-rounded team. So team ban. Okay, so we'll see. I don't know. He could be capping in chat, but we'll see. Um, but Kato, what do you think? Who do you think is the key component?
Honestly, I think really the big difference maker is on Washington is going to be Zam. I think he's going to be able to play some big minutes in defense, and if he can come up with some big stops late in games, I think we'll be saying his name in the commentary a little bit, just as making big plays. And then also, I think on Seattle, same thing that you said. I think it's Narg. I think Narg's going to be able to carry this team. If he can pop off and start getting a bunch of stops and just stay hot like the entire time, then I think that it's an easy dub for Seattle, and they might even take it in 5 if Narg just goes off like that, like where he had 3 shutouts in the last series. I know that you think that was kind of more Hartford, but Narg did make some really good stops there.
For
The
sure. Even
Seattle defense is also really solid too. So if they play solid and Narg does, I think they can really go.
all right. So I think that basically wraps it up. We're gonna head into game. We're about 5 minutes away from game time, so we're gonna step away, transition over into game time, and we'll see you guys all. I think Jower will be doing this on your stream for the next game 3 and 4.
Yes. Gonna try. Yep.
So we'll be back for pre-games next 2 games on what Monday. Monday. Holy smokes, that's hard. But yeah, all right. So we'll see you guys later, and thank you. We're gonna mute now.